Crime Junkie jurors, if y'all had told me that today would be one of our wildest days, I would not have believed you. But we just wrapped up day 16 of Karen Reed's second trial, and my head is spinning. So I want to give y'all my top moments from today. We started off the day with Marian Hartnett from the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. She was back on the stand and doing her cross-examination. Now, there's a couple things I want to touch on right here. Alessi was questioning her, and he cleared up this whole microscopic pieces of taillight embedded in clothing thing. Alessi was questioning Marian Hartnett about this, and she actually cleared this up. And she was saying that there was no microscopic pieces that she found in the clothing. She said that basically anything that was found, any kind of debris, she got from like scraping the clothes with a metal spatula. The shirts were packed together. She doesn't know where they were. So some of that debris can come from the ambulance floor, the hospital floor, wherever else they were. And she said that she didn't actually label any of the debris, didn't notice any plastic pieces, none of that. And then also, one of the questions that we've always had is, was there like salt or sand or debris inside that taillight housing? And Alessi actually asked that question. Take a look.
Did you find any sand or salt or any other debris in the inside portion of that taillight?
No, I did not.
I feel like that's a really big thing that there wasn't any in there, especially because that car drove all the way to Dighton and then was brought all the way back. Now, look, I am a Southern girl. I lived in Ohio for 6 years. So my only experience with salt and sand in the snow is just from those few years. But I remember that got all over my car when it would snow. So for there not to be any in there, I don't know. Y'all let me know in comments what you think about it. Now, on redirect, Brennan had this moment where he was kind of trying to feed some answers. He loves leading questions. And he was talking about the little hair that could. And he asked if water could be like an adhesive or a conduit. He was kind of wanting to explain how that hair could hold on to the side of the bumper, like vertically, even as the snow and everything is like melting off of it and falling. Do you think that's possible, or what do you think? Let me know that in comments too, because I'm very curious to hear y'all's thoughts on that. Right as Marian Hartnett was done with her testimony, she kind of shocked us all because she asked the judge this question. Take a look.
No further questions. Again, thank you for answering my question.
All right, Ms. Hartnett, you are all set.
I wanted to correct something from the record yesterday. I wasn't sure when it was appropriate to do that.
Okay. Do you recall which lawyer asked you the question?
Yes, Mr. Alessi asked me the question.
Your Honor, are we going to proceed along with that?
So why don't I see you outside?
Thank you.
Now, because it wasn't allowed, we'll never know what she wanted to correct the record on. And I am too nosy not to know. It was something during cross-examination. Let me know what y'all think it is. Next up is our second and only other witness of the day. We had the medical examiner, Dr. Scorti-Bello. Now, originally the Commonwealth said they may not even call her. She is the one who examined John O'Keefe's body, and she determines the cause and manner of death. The cause of death is like the disease or the injury that leads to the death. The manner of death is the circumstances that lead to the death. And as far as a medical examiner is concerned, there are 5 different options for this.
So we have natural, accident, homicide, suicide, and then the 5th one is what we call undetermined or could not be determined.
Now, in this case, Dr. Scorti-Bello ruled John O'Keefe's death undetermined. And here she is explaining exactly what that means.
That is when the circumstances in a case are not entirely known or clear to us, and the information that we have does not support one manner of death over another. In that case, we classify the manner of death as undetermined.
So Dr. Scortibello explains that after the autopsy, they release a death certificate. Now, that will have the manner and cause of death if they know enough for it at that time. But if they don't, they will mark that as pending. So after 90 days, if there's enough information that has been found to change that to something specific, like to change it to homicide, for example, then they'll do that and then they'll release an amended death certificate. Otherwise, it'll stay undetermined. Now, in this case, the cause of death is blunt impact injury of the head and hypothermia, although she said that hypothermia isn't the primary cause. For the manner, she left it undetermined. She said there is still not enough information for her to know one way or the other. This is kind of a big deal for the defense too, because if the medical examiner says there's not even enough to determine it's a homicide, then how does that look for the Commonwealth's case? This was actually decided in late April of 2022. And if you watch the first trial, you'll know that Proctor was not happy about this. There's actually a text thread that they read in court where he's talking to Trooper DeChico, and he was mad. He called Dr. Scortibello a whack job because she wouldn't rule it a homicide. Now, on the cross-examination of Dr. Scortibello, y'all, things went off the rails. Do you remember in 13th Juror podcast when I said it's kind of weird for the lead investigator to not go to the autopsy? I said that based on this testimony from Trooper Connor Keefe on day 11. Listen closely to what he says.
You attended the autopsy of John O'Keefe on January 31st of 2022. And with regard to other members of your unit, you were the only one to attend that autopsy?
Yes.
In that same testimony, he says that his unit is the Norfolk Homicide Detectives, which Proctor is also a part of. I thought that's really weird, right? Well, then today, Alessi began asking Dr. Scortibello about who was there at the autopsy, and she said that there were 2 officers. And then this picture is put up for her to confirm. Now, I was looking at it and I'm like, that sure does look like Proctor, right? And the top of it's even labeled Proctor and Keefe. And that label could just be from the defense, but it gets worse. So when the doctor is asked to look at the log to see who signed in, she says this.
Does it refresh your memory on people who attended the autopsy?
Yes.
And who were they?
I believe one person was Mr. Keefe and the other one was Mr. Corner.
Okay, so it looks like they're trying to, again, distance Proctor from this. It looks like instead of saying, like, oh, yeah, this is Proctor and Keefe, it's Connor and Keefe, but that's actually Connor Keefe. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. Do you think it's Proctor? Could it be Tully? Do you think it's somebody else? Let me know in comments who you think it looks like, and let me know if y'all are spiraling down this rabbit hole like I am. Another big moment that left us all guessing is Dr. Scortibello telling Alessi that some of the info that she got from the hospital originally was that John O'Keefe had been at a party, he was walking to a house, and then she said that there was some kind of altercation or dispute. As we're all kind of like leaning in to get the tea and find out what she's talking about, there's an objection and it's sustained, so we don't get to hear anything else about it, but I thought that was really interesting. Alessi spends a lot of the cross-examination walking through symptoms of hypothermia. Now, he wants to show that those specific symptoms could be the cause of other things. A defense expert is expected to argue that John O'Keefe did not suffer from hypothermia, which is probably why he's walking through all this. So by the end of cross-examination and recross, it was actually pretty wild. Alessi got the doctor to acknowledge that she looked for signs of a motor vehicle strike, like bruising and bleeding and broken bones, and she found no evidence of an impact site of a motor vehicle crash. And that the right eye injury is consistent with a punch, but not with falling back and hitting your head. And she couldn't determine the cause of the pattern injuries on the arm. And she couldn't even rule it a homicide because she had doubts, reasonable doubts. He got that in there before an objection. Overall, I think it was a masterful cross. I mean, I can kind of understand why the Commonwealth was thinking they might not even call her, because Brennan didn't handle it well. And his redirect kind of had him spiraling a little bit. He didn't like that Alessi read part of the doctor's grand jury testimony. And y'all, he wanted to let the jury know that he was mad. And he kept on asking the witness about it. And he was in full snark mode. Take a look.
You asked about your entire answer or just part of it?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
You can read the rest of the answer that you weren't given when it was read to you.
Objection, Your Honor.
So this is phrased as refreshing recollection, so follow it appropriately.
Do you now remember there was more to your answer?
Yes.
Could you share with us the rest of your answer?
Without reading
Objection,
it.
Your Honor.
Without reading it. Turn the paper over, please.
I can take it, Your Honor.
Ask the appropriate questions to Brennan.
And the spiraling did not stop there. He started asking questions about freezer burn.
You asked if there was any signs of frostbite. There was no type of freezer burns or anything on Mr. O'Keefe's body, was there?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Was there any type of burns on his body that would suggest that he was put in some type of machine or environment where there was cooling, mechanical cooling?
Where did that come from? At the end, the medical examiner didn't really seem to go his way. So Brennan wanted to try to salvage it by bringing up all the evidence that he says points toward Karen hitting John. He starts with all of these things. He's like asking the doctor, did you know that Karen Reed told Jen McCabe, did I hit him or could I have hit him? And it backfired big time because Dr. Scortibello said, yeah, she knew all that, but she still didn't have enough to rule this a homicide. So at the end of the day, the jury's dismissed, and then we think we're done, but not so fast. There are two new issues that are brought up. Okay, the first up is arguments over the crash reconstructionist for the Commonwealth. So here's the thing. His report all along has said that the trigger event that caused the impact, basically when they say that Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe, was at this one specific time. Well, that time that they're saying that he was hit is like 30 seconds before John O'Keefe like looks at a text and then locks his phone for the last time. There was testimony from Ian Whiffen. He's like the data dude for the Commonwealth. Now, he actually released a report in like December, I think, of 2024. And there's a time on that report that shows when John O'Keefe hit that button to lock his phone. So that is considered the last user interaction. That was new information we didn't have before. So you have two experts from the Commonwealth giving you information that doesn't line up with each other. So today they were arguing because I guess this crash reconstruction company has now created a new report to align their information with Whiffen's testimony. So obviously the defense is like, hold up. We have based everything from our defense on this information that you have given us. So you can't just kind of like scooch on in here at the last minute when we're almost done with the trial and be like, JK, here's my new one, since that guy said something different. The judge didn't make a ruling on it yet. So I don't know. We'll see what she says about that. But let me know in comments. Do you think it should be allowed? Do you think it will be allowed? I have my thoughts. I want to hear what y'all have to say. Now, the other issue that they argued at the end of the day is about the other crash reconstructionist. All the issues end up being with the crash reconstructionist. So ARCA is the crash reconstruction. These are the ones we call the crash daddies, right? They're the ones who have done all of this testing. They did it for the feds. Now they're testifying for the defense. So the judge had told them that they could testify about what they think about the crash reconstructionist for the Commonwealth and kind of do like a rebuttal to that, which is the whole point of putting on a defense, right? Now, they have done all of this testing and come up with reports and looked at all of this and have turned in all of their information. And now Brennan sees all this and he's like, hold up, this is a lot. I'm not okay with this. I don't have time for my experts to go through all this. So he wants for his expert to be able to testify again and be like, that's not what happened. It's basically both of them are saying they want to be the last one to say, no, the other guy's wrong. If y'all want to check that out, it does start at the end of the live stream today, around like 6 hours and 46 minutes in. So they get pretty heated. There was a lot of information, and I tried to do as much of a little recap for y'all as I can with the biggest moments. But for the full breakdown with all of the information, make sure you check out 13th Juror Podcast. And I will see y'all tomorrow morning for jury duty at 9 a.m. right here on Crime Junkie Jury.